Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem B'Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect brothers that are all around the world, preaching and prophesying the Lord's Salakia, preaching and prophesying in the Lord's name, in sincerity and truth. Now, this will be a lesson concerning the third heaven, which is the spirit world, because you have three heavens. You have the firmament and everything that's in it. That's the first heaven. When you look up, you see the sky, and then you have the firmament. The atmosphere, that's heaven. And then you have the second heaven, which is space, or they call it outer space. And then you have the third heaven, which is the spirit world, which that's where all the spirits are. That's where the Most High and his Son are. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh Wa Yahushai. That's where they are. That's where all the that's where all the angels and demons are. That's where you go, when you die. Because when someone dies, their body goes into the earth. It returns back to the dust, because that's where it came from. Because man was formed of the dust of the ground. And then your spirit goes back to the Heavenly Father. It goes back to the spirit world, which is the third heaven. Now, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. I knew a man in Yahushua about 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell, the Most High knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. Now right here, Paul, because this is the Apostle Paul had an out-of-body experience, because he was stoned, and he died. But the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he brought him back to life. He raised him up, so he could do the work. And I'm gonna get the account. It's in Acts chapter 14, verse 19, I believe. Yep, right here. This is Acts chapter 14, verse 19. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. Yeah, so right here, is the account where Paul was stoned. Verse 20, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up. That means the Most High raised him back up. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he raised Paul back up and came into the city. That means right after, he died and the Most High raised him back up, he was like, let me brush off my shoulder and get back to work, which that is a very, very cold spirit. And the Most High put that spirit on him, because he's a very, very special man in the eyes of the Most High and his Son, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. Yeah, so there's the account. And I want to get two more scriptures. Let me see. I'll get Ecclesiastes, the last chapter, I believe. Yeah, this is it right here. I believe that there's another one in Ecclesiastes that speaks about the spirit world, but this is the one right here that I want. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it. Yeah, so when you die, your body goes into the earth and then it decomposes. It becomes one with the earth again, because that's where it came from. And then your spirit return unto the Most High. It goes back to the spirit world. You go back to the spirit world because we're spirits in bodies, and the Most High gave you a spirit because we all are a part of Him because He's the Most High. And let me get Job chapter 3 and verse, is it 10? Yeah, this is Job chapter 3 verse 10. No, verse 11. This is Job chapter 3 verse 11. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Yeah, so Job is saying here, why didn't I just die, as soon as I was born? Why wasn't I stillborn, as they call it today? Because he was catching so much hell. Because of the Most High and Satan had that bet in the heavens, concerning Job. And the Most High said, that's my man. He's gonna overcome, no matter what. And then, Satan was like, I bet if I put him through hell, through pure hell, he's gonna forsake you. He's only he's only praising you and worshiping you because you have a hedge around him. And then that was proven to be wrong, because throughout all of Job's hell, he held his integrity, unto the end, and then the Most High blessed him at the end. Verse 12. Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? Yeah, it's talking about him being nurtured. And this verse 13, for now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, meaning died. Then had I been at rest. Yeah, so death is a transition. You know, when you die, you're just sleeping, because again, your body goes into the ground, and then your your spirit goes back up to the Father. So you're really at rest. You're sleeping, because the Most High again is the Father of spirits, and he's a living power. Then had I been at rest, meaning when you go to the spirit world, everything is in order. You're in an angelic body. You don't use a bathroom. You don't eat. You don't sleep. You're like an angel up there. With kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves. So Job is naming down, all the different categories of men that's in the spirit world, which is everybody. With kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. The kings are there, princes are there, or has an hidden untimely birth had not been, as infants which never saw light. Yeah, so babies that died in the womb. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. Weary means tired. Yeah, so up there everything is perfect. In the spirit world, everything is in order. Everything is 100% right. Verse 18, there the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. Yeah, so there's no oppressor oppressing slave in the spirit world, because that's where you go to get rest. And it says in verse 19, the small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Yeah, so there's no slavery in the spirit world. There's no captivity. There's no form of hell in the spirit world, because that's the third heaven, and in the hell, you are given. You basically, Salakia, you catch hell when you're brought down, on earth. When you're born, and you play out your sentence on earth. Whatever a sentence the Most High give you, that's your hell. That you have to deal with on earth. Some are born deaf, blind, mute. Some born with no arms, no legs. Some are destined to be judged in very horrific ways. That's the hell. That's the sentence. But when you die, when you go up to the spirit world, you're at rest, and that's the third heaven. And Lord will, this lesson was edifying. Lord will, Yahweh Shemel Sharatazah. All praises to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.